Okay, good. So we've talked about future pacing. We've talked about casting. The third principle that we want to talk about is it's called soft contracts. Soft contracts. So the idea of a soft contract, and the reason I've got kind of this fist bump here, it's not a hard agreement. It's not even a handshake in some cases where we're saying, yes, we totally agree to working with you. And it's certainly not something where they're going to sign the actual contract and start paying you money. The idea of a soft contract is what we're just looking for is some buy-in. And we're looking for agreement on the next step. So this is an opportunity to make sure that whatever conversation you've had with your clients so far is really it's clear on both sides on exactly what you've talked about and exactly where you are. And then it's also an agreement as to what the next steps are. So specifically, the way that you could structure a soft contract, you can do it both verbally coming out of a meeting, and then after doing it verbally, you'd want to, of course, document that and make sure that you're getting acceptance in writing. So as an example, I'll use that demo meeting again, where we started off the demo meeting by saying, look, everyone, we're going to show you the product and give you a review of how it works and how it would solve the problem that you have. Then, of course, we're going to answer a few questions about the products that you might have, and I've got a few more questions about your situation. And then, if it makes sense, then the next steps for us would be for me to talk to the Chief Compliance Officer and to make sure that we hook up the two IT teams to answer any technical questions. Does that sound good? Everybody goes, yep, that sounds good. So now we've gotten the buy-in on the future pace. We've got buy-in on the next step. Now, end of the meeting, right? We go, great, everyone. That was really good. I know we've got about 5 more minutes to wrap up. And so one of the things I'd like to do here is summarize what we've covered today and talk about the next steps that we agreed to. So we said that we were going to come in here and show you the product. I think we covered a good amount of the product, and we showed how our product fits your specific needs. You guys asked a lot of great questions about our product, about our company, and I know there's a couple of open questions that you have about product and engineering and roadmap and those sorts of things, which we'll make sure that you get a chance to meet with Justin and Pranay on that. And then we also said that the next steps for us would be to make sure that we on our side had a meeting with the Chief Compliance Officer, and also that we hooked up with your IT team to understand a little bit more about the systems and integrations that would take place. Are we all still on the same page? Does that still seem like the next best steps for you? And they'll go, yeah, that sounds great. Cool. So now you've gotten a verbal soft contract after the meeting. So this is a post-meeting sort of agreement that, yes, this is what we did, and this is what we're going to do. And then what we want to do is take that exact same information and summary and put it into an email. And so the idea of email should only be to summarize the meeting. We're not putting any new information in any kind of email. You should frankly never put new information inside of an email. You just want to make sure that email is only used to confirm and summarize previous meetings and to set up the next meeting, okay? Because you want to be there if there's any new information that's being transferred. We want to see how that person's reacting or responding to it. So the idea of a soft contract is really just summarizing what we said were going to be our next steps. We said verbally these were going to be our next steps. And so the idea of a soft contract is basically recapping that and talking about what the next steps are. And so this is an example of a soft contract that you might do. And I would frankly take this exact same format where you almost treat it like a PowerPoint slide, right? Have some bullet points or have some headings, really pull out for somebody like, hey, if I get this email and I'm scanning it, whether it's on my mobile device or scanning it on my preview pane, then the preview pane of my email, is it really clear to me what the content of this email is? And it almost kind of feels like a contract. If you look at a contract, right, what is there? There's like, agreement, section 1, section 2, section 3, section 4. So the idea here is you're summarizing everything that we've learned so far, and then again, future pacing and getting agreement on the next steps. So the format that I use for soft contracts is just this, like always starting with the customer problem. Say, hey, critical business issue is you shared the key challenge right now you're facing is there's manual process involved with managing your team's technology projects, right? That's the critical business issue. Always restating the problem. Here's the cost to the business. So we're kind of like digging into the need here. We're kind of poking in the wound a little bit here. And then we're bringing them out of that and saying, okay, great. So the solution here is, as we saw in the demo, we showed you how the XYZ project manager software solves this, right? And after the meeting, we said these were the next steps. And then finally, the summary, we always want to end with a question. And this question is almost like a digital signature. We're looking like, hey, did I get everything? Or would you mind hitting reply to confirm? Or is there anything missing? Are we good to go? Because getting that reply, that person's either going to go, yep, you nailed it, you got everything, or they're going to have to go, oh, wait a minute, I thought that we said the next steps were this, this, and this. Oh, okay, great. Well, let me just adjust that soft contract. Let me re-summarize and then send that over to you. So the idea of maintaining, using this as a momentum maintainer is it makes it really clear to everybody what work we've done, makes it really clear on both sides what needs to happen next. And then if deals do stall out, we can always point back to that contract, just like you would a legal document, say, hey, in the legal document, you said you were going to do this, this, and this, and you haven't done it. We have to do it because we said we would. The same idea with the soft contract. You can say, hey, John, I know it's been a couple of weeks since we talked, and we said after the demo 3 weeks ago that the next steps would be for me to meet with IT and your chief compliance folks. And gosh, we just haven't had a chance to, we just haven't had that connection. I know this is really critical for you because you have this challenge and it's costing you this. So what's the best way for us to make sure that we keep momentum here in this conversation, right? So thanks, Katerina, appreciate that. So this is an easy framework. This template's available on the member site as well, and I'll make sure that you have an access to the link at the end. There's a resources section here. But I would, like, if I were you, I would just copy and paste this example and create a template in your email. And just like after every meeting, whether it's an early qualification call where you are telling the person, hey, the business issue it sounds like you're trying to solve is this, and it's costing you that, and this is how our solution solves it. The next steps is for us to have that product demo. And between now and the product demo, you mentioned you were going to try to get John and Mary to join us. So if you would, just let me know what their email addresses are so I can invite them. So even something as simple as an early stage lead qualification, you can use this idea of a soft contract. So just keep this as a template and just make it a habit after every meeting of sending this off, and always end with a question, because that reply of yes is basically them signing to those next steps.